So yesterday I decided to take kind of a last minute trip from Bay Area to LA Hollywood area. I'm not exactly sure. I guess it'd be considered Los Angeles to the complex. I think like a week or so ago they announced that there was going to be a 25th anniversary for the Jackass, and anyways they were having an art show, and I was like, fuck man, there's like never going to be an opportunity like this. So yeah, I booked a hotel kind of last minute and headed on down there. It was a 6 hour drive, but yeah, it ended up being totally worth it. So today is Friday, the 14th, and I got there yesterday, November 13th. It said on the flyer that it was going to be from the 14th, 15th, and the 16th. So I figured I was just going to stay there one night, and then I was gonna go there on the 14th, and then maybe like walk around and go to a record store or some shit. I don't know, and then just head back. But anyways, I got there Thursday night. I left the here around 1 o'clock. I got there at 7. Checked into this shady hotel. Anyways, that's not important. And then so I check into the hotel. I start walking to get some Thai food, and then I see this big crowd, and I was like, man, what the fuck is going on over here? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, the complex, this is where the art show is going to be at tomorrow. And then I started seeing, like, I don't know, kind of people dressed like me, like, you know, skateboarding and shit like that. And I was like, wait a second. And then I look in, and I was like, holy fuck, Jeff Tremaine's right there. So then I was like, I guess it's starting early, I don't know. So I ended up finding out that they had a pre-party or whatever. So anyways, I kind of see people talking to security or the check-in people or whatever. I did like a RVSP thing with the complex, but I'm not from that area. I have no idea how the complex works. So I just walk up to the lady and I was like, hey, I did like a RVSP thing. I threw my email and name or whatever. She's like, what's your name? And I told her. And then she was like, okay, you're good. She gave me a wristband. So I have no idea like what the deal with that was. But anyways, yeah, so I go into the art show, and I'm looking around at all the cool pictures. I took pictures of some of it, but I kind of just wanted to just keep it like in the memory or whatever. But yeah, like some of the ones that stood out were like a picture of Ryan Dunn, rest in peace. The shopping cart picture, which is like a classic. And then I also remember there was like a glass circle thing of the Jackass sign, but it was all like little cigarette butts or whatever. I thought that was super cool. And then I think my favorite was probably the some sort of like drawing or whatever. And I was confused at first. It said like Jackass Most Dangerous Stunt or whatever. Then I realized it was a picture of Bill Cosby. And yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. I would say that the icing on the cake, as far as the art show goes, was probably Dave England's little exercise bicycle with the little mannequin head, and it looks like he had put some lips on it. But I do remember that from the TV show, and I always thought that was just so funny and very, very creative. Also, what I forgot to mention is I had seen Wee Man there, but I had already met Wee Man about a year or so ago in Santa Clara. He was at some car show. Maybe he was promoting his buddy's business or whatever. But yeah, I met him at this car show in Santa Clara, and I'd gotten a couple DVDs signed from him. And yeah, he was very, very nice. And the guy asked him some questions about skateboarding and stuff. And also, Steve-O was not there, but a friend of mine and I had met Steve-O on the Bucket List tour in Stockton, California. I'd even got to drop a question about Deicide to him and stuff like that, and he was just like, oh man, yeah, I haven't seen Deicide in a minute, man, I'll have to get back in touch with them. So I always thought that was very cool of him. I also wanted to mention that Danger Aaron was there at the art show, but I don't know why. I saw him there for a minute, and then it had been before I had started walking up to people and like taking pictures and talking to them and stuff. And yeah, I had seen Danger Aaron there, and he was with his kid and possibly his wife. And I was like, I'm not going to bug him. He's holding hands with this kid or whatever. He's probably busy. I don't want to let go of his kid, and then the kid goes running off or whatever. But yeah, I think he might have disappeared for a bit or something like that. I don't know. And then I think he had come back, but maybe he was there the whole time and I just didn't recognize him, or I couldn't find him or whatever. I think he had some like funny like Indiana Jones hat on, and I don't know, maybe he was just unrecognizable to me or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll meet him or something like that. But yeah, there was just so many cool pictures, and I probably like looked around it for like an hour or so. And yeah, I was seeing like Dave England and Jeff Tremaine and Johnny Knoxville and stuff like that, and I was like really nervous. And I was like, "Fuck, man!" Like I've been watching Jackass since I was like 5 years old when it came out, the TV show. I saw the movie probably at age 6 and 7, the first movie, and then second movie I saw in fourth grade with my grandma, and then third movie freshman year of high school saw with a bunch of friends, and then the fourth movie I just saw, whenever it came out a few years ago with a friend. And so yeah, I've been like looking up to these guys for a long time. Like I love like how they throw in skateboarding and funny shit and all that stuff. But anyways, I see Johnny Knoxville and he's talking to somebody, so I don't know if it's cool to ask him for a picture or whatever. But I see somebody asking for a picture, and then I was like, oh, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna have an opportunity like this. So walk up to him, ask him for a picture, and he's like, yeah, sure, man. Take a picture, and then he shakes my hand. I said, thanks, man. This is a cool art show. And he goes, right on. And then I just walk away. And then I was like, okay, fuck it. Like, let me just try to meet as much of like the OG cast members as I can. So then I see Dave England over there, and walk over to him. And then I see him talking to one of the guys who used to be on Nitro Circus. I don't remember his name for the life of me. And then, anyways, I say, hey, what's up, man? It's cool. Get a picture. Take a picture. And then I wanted to ask him something. Might as well. I don't know if I'll ever meet the guy again. So we ended up talking about snowboarding and stuff like that. I was asking him how much he does it nowadays. And it was cool. We were talking about Squaw Valley and Boreal and stuff like that. And I told him I watch all those like Whitey McConaughey Kingpin production videos. And he was like, yeah, man, I love Squaw Valley and stuff like that. And so that was really cool. So then I'm about to leave to go to this restaurant real quick because I haven't eaten anything all day. And then I see Chris Pontius outside, and I was like, oh, fuck. And he had like a Turbo Negro shirt on, so I thought that was super cool. And then so I walk up to him, and I say, hey, man, it's cool to get a picture. And he's like with his family and stuff like that. And it's very, very cool. I took a picture with him. And then he said something about my Deicide hoodie. And then I was like, oh, shit. And then I was like, cool, you like Deicide? And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I was asking if he ever seen Deicide in L.A. since they play there all the time, and I one time had to take a trip down there to see them because I had work during the week. And so he said he hadn't seen Deicide before, but he was telling me about how he's been going to Norway recently, and he's been telling me that, hopefully I'm not spoiling it or whatever, but he's told me he's been working on a black metal documentary, and that he did like an interview with Necro Butcher at Mayhem and stuff like that. So we started talking about music, and Chris Pontius was telling me that he just like, yeah, he saw Emperor live, and he said he saw Dimmu Borgir live, and I'm a huge fan of Dimmu Borgir. So we were talking about that, and then I was talking about Turbo Negro and stuff like that, and yeah, he just told me he was in a bunch of killer music, which I kind of already knew, but yeah, we were talking about like Accept and shit like that, and just like a really, really nice guy. So I bounced for a little bit, go to the restaurant, and then I come back, and I was like, okay, let me just chill for another 30 minutes. Really just check out all the sick art and stuff like that. One thing that stood out, I didn't take any pictures of it, but I hadn't realized that Danger Aaron had been taking pictures. I don't know how long, but he had a bunch of cool pictures from like the 2000s when they were doing the movie. And one of the pictures that really stood out was Bam Margera in like a water slide pool, and he was doing like I think like a 180 or something like that. And I think that water slide was in the original Jackass the movie ending that you can find on like the deleted scenes or whatever. It was called like the failed ending or whatever. But yeah, it was just really cool to see all of Danger Aaron's photos and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, I walk around. I'm like, hey, let me just try to meet as much people as I can. So then I see Preston Lacey walk in, and then I walk up to him real quick and ask him for a picture. He's very nice, just kind of quick picture, shook his hand and stuff like that. And then that was it. And then I was walking around a little more, and then I kind of seen Jeff Tremaine hanging out, and he was, I ended up seeing him. He was talking to this pro skateboarder, Andy Roy, who I had met a few years ago at a Misfits Iggy Pop show down there in Pomona. And so I really want to say something to Jeff Tremaine, like, huge fan of him, like, just great director and stuff like that, like, definitely a huge inspiration to, like, the videos I make and stuff, putting in, like, skateboarding and really funny, stupid shit and just mashing them together. And then I see somebody asking for a picture, and I was like, ah, fuck it. Because earlier when I seen Jeff Tremaine, I didn't want to bug him because I think he was with his kids and his wife, and I was like, I don't know if that's appropriate. But once I seen the guy do it, and I just said, ah, fuck it, I'm going for it. So I went up to Jeff Tremaine. I was like, hey, man, let's go get a picture. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And then he goes, oh, man, sick Deicide shirt. And I was like, oh, fuck, no way. So I had no idea that Jeff Tremaine even knew who like Deicide was, but I guess it's not out of the ordinary or whatever, because I do remember Big Brother. They were I don't remember what Big Brother video it was, but I remember they had the Divine Intervention album, and fucking they were just like cranking it in the van or whatever. And then I don't remember I can't remember if it was like a part with like Danny Way or something like that in one of the Big Brother videos, but they had a Napalm Death song. I don't remember what song it was, but it was from the second album, From Enslavement to Obliteration. So yeah, he was very nice and shook my hand. He goes, hey, man, what's your name? I was like, oh, Joey. And he's like, oh, cool, man. It was really nice to meet you. And that was pretty much it. Some of the other people, like, there were all the, camera guys and cinematographers walking around and stuff, like Rick Cossack, Lance Bangs, Sean Cliver and stuff. And I'm all fans of those guys and stuff. And, like, it would have been cool to talk to them, but I don't know. I kind of felt like I got really lucky just meeting the people who I got to meet. So I kind of just left it there. And then I remember Eric Andre ended up showing up, and I'm sure people were gonna walk up to him and want to get pictures with him and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, it was just a really cool experience. And like, yeah, depending on what time I upload this video or what time people see this video, that art show was fantastic. And hopefully people can make it out to it, or hopefully they do something like it again. And yeah, hopefully more stuff for the 25th anniversary or whatever. Because, yeah, those guys were some of the nicest people I ever met. Like, nicer than anybody in a band I ever met or whatever, So,